In Wolfenstein's alternate 1980s, Nazis remain a force of evil across Europe. Thus, the Nazi killing continues as the Blazkowicz twins, Jess and Soph, pick up where their parents left off for this spin-off, Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's a relentless co-op RPG-like shooter driven by an unapologetic, youthful attitude. It may not reach the same heights of its predecessors, but Youngblood hits where it counts. Jess and Soph and their best friend Abby immediately come to life with a striking contrast from their parents.
I say, what time is it? I think it's time for Arthur and Kenneth to balustrate this sticky wicket. Fuck yeah!
They're boisterous and sometimes dorky, the same way many teenagers and young adults are. It gives them genuine personalities that mostly come off cool as hell, especially with stellar voice acting and silly moments like elevator loading screens with 80s synth-pop tunes. With BJ gone missing, they uncover clues to his disappearance and take matters into their own hands. They're out in Nazi-occupied France to find their dad and, well, kill Nazis. As either Jess or Soph, with their co-op or AI partner as the other sister, you join a French resistance movement in New Paris, which quickly boils down to you raiding Nazi outposts and strongholds with them slick dot-you-shoot suits. With the twins inseparable, co-op is at the heart of the experience, and thankfully partnering up online is a breeze. You can have friends or randoms jump into your session seamlessly without interruption. The AI will assume control until a player connects, and again right as a player leaves. And when players have identical missions in their quest log, completing it records progress for both players. And if you'd rather go it alone alongside a decent AI companion, it's just as viable for the entire game.
Fuck yeah, Jess, you're slaying it!
Gameplay-wise, Youngblood captures that familiar Wolfenstein feeling of taking an automatic shotgun to a Nazi soldier, melting an armor-clad super soldier with a laser rifle, or zapping a horde with a lightning coil, and what a powerful feeling it is. What's new is a number of RPG-like twists. Tougher enemies have one of two armor elements that are weak to corresponding weapons, encouraging you to actively juggle your varied arsenal. A slightly more diverse weapon upgrade system helps flesh out some familiar firearms. There's also a character progression system where you rack up XP to level up, then dump upgrade points into new skills and perks. These are simple systems that help facilitate steady unlocks, making you feel like you're getting ever more devastating but never overpowered. Solid gunplay and some neat mechanics wouldn't mean much without the proper combat encounters to complement them, and Youngblood delivers. You'll often pull out all the stops to either finish combat scenarios or realize that you have to retreat to rethink your approach. Stealth alone isn't really an option, but it's a good way to thin out the opposition before going all out guns blazing. It can get overwhelming when super soldiers, massive mechs, and a bomb-strapped Panzerhund bear down on you, but that's when Youngblood is at its best. Intense firefights can break out anywhere with little warning, and the main missions manage to keep a consistent, action-packed momentum throughout. Youngblood leans more into an open structure by making New Paris a group of separate districts where you find your missions. The main questline branches from the hub areas, but out on the streets, side missions and random events fill in the spaces.
Listen up, sisters. There's a high-value target using a car parked near your location. Get there and plant a bomb on it. Good luck, sisters.
They're conducive for racking up early XP, getting familiar with district layouts, and soaking up the vibe of a downtrodden 1980s Paris, but quickly feel like filler that bulk out your to-do list. Levels do have a hint of Arcane Studios' influence, sometimes reminding me of Dishonored. It spices up combat with some verticality and allows light exploration for alternate routes or collectibles. It's a successful incorporation of that studio's strengths, and the game is better for it. Now, the Paris Catacombs act as your safe hub in Youngblood. It's not as extensive as the new Colossus's U-boat home, and you won't get much from the inhabitants as they're nowhere near as involved as Wolfenstein 2's supporting cast. They're more just quest givers. However, Jess, Soph, and Abby are there to pick up the slack.
I decrypted fragments of stolen Nazi intel on the computer. Witness reports from Nazis who survived the encounter with Captain Blazkowicz. Piecing together the fragmented information, I deduced that he was looking for a place called Lab X.
That's where he must be then.
The story overall doesn't reach the same highs as the new Colossus. It's an incredibly tough act to follow, really. But aside from a cheap plot twist and underwhelming villains, most of Youngblood's lean story is a fun ride. To that end, the game is less about a bold, fleshed-out narrative, and more about instilling an infectious charisma in its star characters to match the over-the-top action. And it sows the seeds for what's next in Wolfenstein, leaving the door wide open for some exciting, wild possibilities. There are traces of an ongoing game here. You can take on daily and weekly challenges as they cycle into the game, or replay story missions on harder difficulties for increasing amounts of XP and currency, which is a bit more enticing. While it's a bog-standard way to keep the co-op experience going, they at least offer an outlet to try new tactics, as these harder modes can be quite unforgiving. The endgame may not be extensive, but the ride was exciting enough that the content feels like a little value added.
Let's kick this general's ass.
Wolfenstein Youngblood has the series' signature first-person shooting thrills that'll have you gladly busting shots and blasting lasers in the face of Nazi trash, and the opportunity to do so alongside a friend. The fight carries on to the next generation, and the way this spin-off broadens the saga with the Blazkowicz twins makes you wish there was more to see from this new cast of lovable knuckleheads. Jess and Soph, and Abby too, learn from the best, and they embrace their newfound duty of ridding the world of tyranny while being cool as hell doing it. Youngblood is short, but oh so sweet.
Let's do or die, sis. Just like Daddy told us.